Now, hopes are fading of recovering bodies of flood victims in KwaZulu-Natal. There are also fears that it may be difficult to identify decomposing bodies, but some families do continue to search for their loved ones. Government saying that over 50 are still missing, but NGOs say that the number could go into the hundreds. Our reporter Manqoba Mchunu caught up with two families in Kwandengezi, and they are hoping to find 11 loved ones who were swept away by those floods. Thank you very much once again, Manqoba, for your time this morning. I mean, the visuals you showed us this morning looked very bleak in that the ground in which people are looking for their family members, it looks very difficult to excavate, let alone find any remains.
Indeed, Rapport, and that's perhaps one of the difficulties that is facing this community of KwaXutshwayo in Kwandengezi. The fact that their houses are so closely built just next to the river Xutshwayo here. I'm just going to ask my colleague just to pan and just show you the visuals, just how far that river is from here. It is just merely a few meters away, Rapport, from where we are standing. And of course, it is one of the reasons why these residents say they now live in fear, because every time that there are rainfalls in this area, there are fears that their houses could be washed away. In fact, I spoke to one of the residents here who was telling me just a bit earlier on that, in fact, in 2019, when there were those heavy rains here in KwaZulu-Natal, she also lost a member of her family who drowned and was washed away into this particular river. So there's a lot of concern from community members here who are saying that they have been calling for a government to step in terms of trying to find them alternative, places where they could stay. But of course, the scale of this devastation here is still quite visible when you come and you drive around this place. In fact, we had to park about a few meters away from where we are, and we had to cross a river just to try and get to this household where they are still searching for 7 of their family members who died as a result of those heavy downpours 3 weeks ago. What we do know so far is that one family member has been found and has been laid to rest. But so far, the family telling us that they're still looking for 7 other members, but also 4 other members of their neighbors, the Mthembu family, who were also affected by the flood. We understand that they were trying to get away from their house, which was collapsing at the time, and running for safety here at the Hlophe household. When tragedy struck, they were then washed away by what Snenhlanhla Hlophe described to me earlier on as a mudslide that came over the house, accompanied by water. And she says that she witnessed and saw those family members being swept away, being buried by this mudslide. And the family is saying that at this particular point, they still suspect, Rapport, that those relatives might still pretty much be here in this destruction that you see behind me. This is what used to be the Hlophe homestead. It's now reduced to rubble. There are remnants, of course, of that devastation that happened here. We can still see some of the furniture here. But I'm going to speak now to one of the family members as well, Kolisiwe Hlophe, who lost her 3-year-old in this tragedy. Kolisiwe, kusenzima namanje ukuthi namukele lokho kwenzekile kunina. Ngizocela nje ukuthi ubheke ngapha kancane ukuze ngikubone kahle siswami. Kusenzima kunina?
Kusenzima kakhulu, angilali ngisho ebusuku, ngicabanga ngengane yami, ngicabanga ngo-anti, ngicabanga ngazo zonke ingane esuke ekade zikhona la egcekeni.
Ngibonile manje kade nibheka la Kholisiwe, nibheka nipequlula la ezinye impahla, nipequlula ezinye izinto. Nathola nesithombe khona lapha?
Yebo, sithole nesithombe. Into edala ukuthi sibheke la, amaphoyisa aseMarandridge ake afika la ehamba nezinja, athi inja khona ekunukayo la, aze abeke ifridge ngalapho. Manje bathi mebegumba abantu kwaqhuma amanzi. Into edala ukuthi sibhekeke ingoba sisaqhubeka sisabheka laba bethi khona kunuka inja, baba abantu abathe bazobuya abaphindanga babuya. And namanje sizwa ama-social worker ukuthi sihambe wonke amamoshwali sibheka ingane. Khona labaze basihambisa khona ePortshepstone, lapho sifike kwafaniswa ingane efana neyamuntu wala ekhaya. Manje amaphoyisa awasizi ngoba mengabe ngiphindela khona bathi umphathi wami wecala akekho, umphathi wami wecala akekho, bazongifonela. Kanti laphaya la sifanisa khona umuntu ofana nengane la ekhaya badinga umphathi wecala. Ngiyacela nje ukuthi amaphoyisa asisize kakhulu angifonele ngazi ukuthi ubani umphathi wecala njengoba ethi azobuya azogumba. Ngiyacela ukuthi afike azogumba ngoba manje sihlala sinenhliziyo ezibhlungu. Kwelinye ilanga usine ukavuka ebusuku ahamba ayobheka lapha ayethi amaphoyisa kukhona khona sikuthoni nje ukuphumula. Mengabe ngiba khona inhliziyo yami ibhlungu kakhulu. Ngicela ukuthi abuye azokwazi ukuthi asisize njengoba yeshilo ukuthi kukhona lapha.
So siswami wena isifiso sakho manje ukuthi uthole umntwana wakho?
Isifiso sami ukuthi ngithola umntwana wami babuye nje nenja yabo labo bethe igumba khona esilisi basilethe noma ugandaganda ngoba kwakufike ngisho umphathi wakhona wathi kudipha kudinge into efana nogandaganda. Ngiyacela ukuthi phela silethele ugandaganda la ekhuluma ngawo mase bezizamela nendawo yokuhlala ngoba asinayo indawo yokuhlala and kunzima ke nje bahleli la sibhizi siyawubuka lo mfula lo siyabuka la kwalimalela khona izingane and futhi sinethemba lokuthi bala ngoba umseshi wayethe bala manje kunzima kakhulu nje indawo yokuhlala ingane ikona engikudinga kakhulu njengamanje.
And ke sisi niyayithola yona i-counseling?
Abakaze bafike be-counseling kwathiwa siye ehholo mengabe sifike ehholo bangafika abantu ababezosikhanselisha kuze kube manje nje i-counseling asikakayitholi. Asibuzile ama-social worker izoluthi counseling sayithola yini udingeka wona yini sasho ukuthi kwakuthiwa odokotela bakaze bafika kuze kube manje.
Okay. And sisi nikhathazekile ngale ndawo enihlala kuyona. Ngiyabona nalapha emuva ukuthi nakhona kuyeminye imizi eminingi khona la kuwe ngisho umgwaqo la. Ninjani ukukhathazeka njengoba nihlala eduzane komfula? Into enikhathaza njalo malini izulu la?
Thangi nje kwakhona amacontsana amancane kuze kwasho umalume wathi siwenze njani njengoba kubuya lamaconsi shuthi hambani yolala ehholo. Wakulelo hholo leli lapha yayi coffee farm nawo namawindi mesolala ehholo asinayo ipantshi asinayo ingubo okusho ukuthi nje sogcina sifelela ngoba sayisaba imvula and asitholi nendawo yokuhlala nabantu ekufuze ngabasiza sithola izingane abasiza kusathuli nje kanjalo and nokudla silethelwa abantu basesontweni kuphela.
Thank you very much. Well, that was Kolisiwe just giving us a picture of, what this flood really caused for this family, the devastation that it caused. Of course, her 3-year-old child is among those that are still missing. She says that they are really not giving up hope of finding their loved ones. At this particular point, she says that they're just asking for the police to assist them as the family. They say that they did receive a call from police from Merenridge here in the west of Durban, not far from where we are, who had promised that they were going to take them to a mortuary where some of the children believed to be possibly might be relatives of the Hlophe family were found. But she says that they've been, she's been sent from pillar to post by the police, and at this particular point they're just hoping that they will find their children in order to lay them to rest. Of course, she says that they fear for their lives having to live here near this river, and she says that at this particular point they have no place to stay. They are staying at a hall, we understand, and she says that even there, they're not really getting the supplies that are necessary. They don't get the food and also the necessary, supplies and, things that they need as a family. There are IDs that are lost. There are many things that were lost during that devastation. And so really pleading on government and pleading on search and rescue operations to come back to this area to help the Mskawa and to find those family members.
No, absolutely, Manqoba Mchunu. And of course, one important element that you've spoken about there is counselling, which they are also not receiving at the moment. And we just hope that the relevant stakeholders are listening, and those resources to help find her child, as an example, will be deployed so that some peace can be found in some of these communities. We'll catch up with you later on, Manqoba Mchunu. Thank you very much for your time this morning.